sighed. "What makes Uncle Roger so difficult?" "We have had problems with the press about family matters," Elizabeth admitted. "I suppose that has made him sensitive. But I believe the young man on the phone said this had to do with the history of Collinsport." "We'll soon know," Carolyn said, with a gleam of excitement in her eyes. At the same instant, a car came to a halt in the driveway before the old mansion, and a young man in a tan trench coat got out and came up to the door. He'd barely pressed the bell when Carolyn opened the door to him. He was 20-ish, sandy-haired, and had a round, pleasant face. "I'm Jim Mason from the Ellsworth Journal," he said. "I'm expected." "I know," she said, with a smile for him in return. She liked his clean-cut looks and manner. "Mother is waiting for you in the living room." She showed him in. Elizabeth rose to greet him. "My daughter Carolyn and I have been quite intrigued since your phone call, trying to guess what you wanted to discuss with me." He smiled politely. "I hadn't intended to sound mysterious." "But you did," Elizabeth insisted. "Your vague references to the history of the village could mean anything." She waved him to an easy chair. "Please, do sit down." "Thank you," he said. Carolyn and her mother sat on a divan directly opposite him. Carolyn asked, "Are you a native of this part of Maine, Mr. Mason?" "No," he said, his eyes showing a twinkle. "I'm from Vermont, but I've always had a desire to work by the ocean. The chance to come here was too good to resist." Elizabeth laughed. "This is as close to the ocean as you can get." "I know it." He glanced around with interest. "I won't deny I was anxious to come out here and see you. I've heard so much about Collinwood. This is my first time on the estate." "What are your impressions?" Carolyn wanted to know. He considered. "I don't believe I've any really clear-cut ones yet. I had a lot of preconceived ideas about the place. I guess you are aware it has a kind of reputation as a haunted mansion." Elizabeth nodded. "Any house 100 years old or more is bound to have legends grow up around it." "That is true," the reporter said seriously, "and Collinwood is no exception. I've gone through the file on the estate, and the number of eerie ghost stories associated with it is amazing." "I've grown up with them," Carolyn said with a tiny sigh. "And yet I find both the house and location charming rather than spooky," Jim said. "Thank you," Elizabeth said. "But then, on this charming autumn afternoon, you are seeing it at its best. Perhaps you should be here when the wind is blowing in from the ocean and it is pouring rain. That's when the shutters rattle, the house creaks, and phantoms peer in the rain-lashed windows," Carolyn teased. He took it in good part. "Well, that sounds more in character with the Collinwood I've heard about." "There is such a Collinwood," Carolyn's mother assured him. "The place would be lacking if it had no such legends. We treasure our ghosts and demons here, as other estates take pride in their lawns and gardens. The weird tales about this house have made it famous." The young reporter gave her an inquiring glance. "And you don't resent them?" "Not really," Elizabeth said. "Some of them are founded on true cases of haunting. I don't deny the existence of the supernatural." "Few intelligent people do," the young man said seriously as he took a notebook from his pocket. "I'm afraid my business here today is of an extremely prosaic nature. It has nothing to do with your celebrated history of vampires, werewolves, and other assorted monsters." "Well, please tell us quickly what it is you are here to find out," Carolyn pleaded. "I'm dying of curiosity." He laughed. "Ha! Forgive me," he said. And then, consulting his notebook again, he addressed himself to her mother. "What can you tell me about nursing sister Anne Hayward?" Elizabeth gave him a strange look. "The frightened bride," she said, almost to herself, speaking in a low voice. The young reporter looked puzzled. "What is that, Mrs. Stoddard?" "Nothing," she said, at once casual again. "What is it you wish to know about Anne Hayward?" "You'll recall the hospital has an Anne Hayward wing. I believe she donated the money for it some years back.